look at it. I mean, are you embracing the idea of putting the promotions in there as you just described? Because that's all we really need. It's in line with the same. Just one thing, it's not throwing us a bone by any stretch because I mean, it's laughable.
I thought you weren't talking.
I'm talking. I'm just kidding. Well, I got back to the union member though. That goes a long way. So.
He's not a Teamster though.
That's okay. He's in the movement, man. That's a big one.
John, let me ask you something. So I've got your position. I summarized it with respect to how seniority comes into play as a tiebreaker. But in addition to that, you want a reopener of that article for the second year.
Yeah.
So what are you going to look at, in the first year with respect to that language in seniority?
Track record. I'm going to look at the track record to see that, A, if there were any complaints from anybody, how did the county respond? And just because the county has the requirement to articulate, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to agree with that person's assessment of the situation. And so I'll be able to say, well, listen, we've been at it for a year now, and I'm no probably sooner than that, 6, 7, 8 months into it, and I haven't had a blip. I haven't had a single complaint. There's been quite a few promotions, maybe 1 or 2 layoffs, or maybe there's been no layoffs. There's been quite a few location reassignments, and quite a few jobs have been rebid, and I haven't had a single complaint. And or if I had some complaints that didn't have any merit because the county was correct in their assessment that the person was clearly more qualified or whatever, and I'm going to evaluate it. And so it's not an automatic reopener.
Have you looked at the track record for the months that we've been bargaining this issue?
There's been improvements, without a doubt. I've heard the committee report to me that there's been improvements since we started bargaining, that things have been done the right way, and
So why doesn't that count as the way to get us over the hump on this issue?
Well, that's why we're asking for, just put it in there. I think a lot has got to say, if it's right there, how many supervisors are gonna do something wrong if they gotta answer Barbara? They don't wanna go up to that office. I'm sure of that.
And that's all the more faith I have in that you guys probably will be honoring this language, and I may not have to make any changes. And I hope that's the case. I honestly do. I hope that I don't have to reopen that article. That things are just going well as they are.
Okay, because when I asked the question, around my side of the table, what's the promotional opportunity that was lost by somebody in the bargaining unit over the last year since we've been bargaining this issue, that makes this such a significant issue, and nobody could identify one, and the only thing I hear at the table from your side are references to events that occurred 4, 5, 3 years ago.
Well, 3 years ago we were bargaining. I mean, we've been at it that long. And I will say that probably the last blast was the whole Dallas Snyder and Doug Hecht situation. That was probably what really put us in our overdrive, and that things have improved. And that's the reason, that's the only reason I'm willing to accept the idea that we can't believe something in year one. Because trust me, that's not my normal stance on things. And so you have earned some respect and trust on our side. But again, I go before the BOCC and I speak and I hear the comments made on television from either county commissioners or Michelle Bakers. I don't believe in seniority. Wow. If you don't believe in something, and I'm in bargaining next time saying, just trust us, we're going to do the right thing. So you can understand the concern, I would imagine, anybody with common sense would.
But yeah, I can turn that around and say, I cannot believe that you don't want to reward job performance. It's the same exact thing.
Have you listened to anything we've been saying? Though?
Yeah,
we're talking about when things are considered.
But it's always,
Do you have anything in place for your cream of the crop when they fail?
I don't know what you're
Okay, you have an area coordinator in Parks and Recreation that has now cost this county close to $500,000 because of his inexperience and his refusal to go out and ask people that knew what they were doing because he didn't want to ask them.
I don't know what you.
Brian Taylor.
Because
Brian Taylor was put in place. Brian Taylor was put in place when the Wesley Chapel, the regional park was being constructed, and the extra 40 acres at the Land Lakes Rec Complex was being added on. He had a business degree, no construction experience whatsoever. If you go back and look at your paperwork, you can see that the maintenance now has cost the county close to $500,000 for the repairs that he did not recognize in the beginning. It should have been corrected before they were even in place.
I'm having trouble relating that to,
Well, you want to use the cream of your crop, but there's your cream of the crop. He failed.
But you're giving an example of somebody that had education and parks experience.
But he
So
had
he's
absolute-
qualified for his
But he had
position.
absolutely no construction experience, so why put him in?
Construction is not the major part of his job.
Is this a bargaining guy?
No.
Okay, well, it's just, the point is taken that, there are people in the neighbors' minds that are put in a position, in this particular case, it's not even a bargaining position, however, the point Doug's trying to make is that, sometimes people look good on paper, but they don't have any experience to back something up that they could.
Who is the determining factor? Is that they're apples and apples?
Well,
That someone with 7 years college isn't equal to someone with 2 years of what happened? I mean, who determines apples and apples?
If, it really depends on how the job is posted. Sometimes you substitute experience for education, but it really depends on the job.
I know somebody right now who applied for facilities management director position, and he has a ton of construction experience, but only 2 years of college. The application isn't going anywhere.
Well, we
He's so
won't,
qualified.
we won't, there are times when we substitute experience for education, but not at the director level. That's why I said it depends on the job. We're not gonna have a director without a 4-year degree.
Can you
That makes
get
just
some,
no sense, Barb. Okay.
can you get something, in writing on this? Because if you give us something in writing on this, with what we're talking about, we may be able to clean up some of the other things that we should on a couple of them. It's something that we have to have to ratify this agreement. And I think we can maybe, I think a couple things accomplished today.
No.
Yeah, I'll work on this during one of our
Said
breaks.
they won't take
Once we're
experience.
Let's see what's left.
Well, we know what I'm saying, if that's going to, once we cross that bridge, if we can reach an agreement on that, then I can probably clean up a couple of the other ones.
Well, an agreement on this, because it includes a reopener, means it's tied to some other articles in the contract, right? It's at least to the duration and whatever other issues are subject to reopener, which are second year wages and how the evaluation process works with that.
I understand we may not be able to TA duration today without having a little bit more thought put into it, but we can certainly TA an article that says that the union, upon request, what I would like to reopen this particular article. I don't think,
Well, what else would fall in that category? I'm making my list of possible reopener. So far, I have Article 19, which you suggested, and we have wages for year 2, which includes as a subcomponent evaluations.
yeah, but we're talking about duration now.
Well, that's right. That's the second year.
That's the only, the point I'm trying to make is we can reach a TA on Article 19 without having to nail
No, we
duration
can't.
right now.
No, we
Why is
won't.
that?
Because I need to know what's going to happen in year 2.
I don't have any other.
If it's only going to be a 1-year contract, then you could build your
No, I don't
track,
think-
you could look at your track record over the next year and we'll deal with it then, because we're not going to get it resolved.
I don't have
I see it linked to other articles.
I don't believe there's any other article that I'm looking to reopen, if that's the question.
Okay, well, that's one of the questions.
Okay.
The other is how does it play into the second year wage and the evaluation, which is
wages.
open.
You know, I mean, we haven't been talking about wages.
That's what I'm saying. How does it play into it? Let's evaluate how it plays into it.
Well, we know at least that we're going to have bargaining in year 2 over wages. We know that. Okay, we don't know, because I've heard a couple different things. One, that there was going to be a split between and across the board, you know, merit increase originally. I mean, last time in bargaining, you said that you're just going to have 100% based on merit increase in year 2. However, the amount that's going to be applied, the amount of the raise, put it bluntly, is up for negotiations. And then how it's going to be applied in the, how the merit increase is going to, how it's going to work, I guess. In other words, what the dollar assessments for each. So we have a, in other words, merit is going to represent a 5% increase next year or year 2. But of that 5%, you know, if you meet this goal, you get 1%. If you meet this goal, you get 1%. If you meet this goal, you get 1%. Right? That breakdown is yet to be determined.
Yeah, but wait a second. I think you misstated our position for year 2 on wages. We have never made a proposal that has a bifurcated wage in year 2, meaning some component of it fixed and some component of it evaluation based.
Well, I suggest we rewind the tape, because that's what I heard. And in the beginning, it doesn't make a difference. You change your proposal and you have a right to do so. But out of the gate, am I correct in saying that?
What, that
Yes,
is,
it's a split.
hopefully that's what we get to, but at this point, we don't know. It's too early to tell. But that's the best case
You're
scenario.
just saying that you never proposed it. I don't really care. It's water under the bridge.
In year 2?
In year 2.
We never even proposed a fixed increase other than what the Board of County Commissioners sets in year 2.
I understand that.
Okay, so that's.
We talked about.
You never, okay, go ahead.
Listen, when we talked in bargaining 2 sessions ago, we said that the idea was in year 1 that there was going to be a fixed percentage set by the BOCC for an across-the-board increase. And in year 2, there was going to be a portion of it that was set by the BOCC as a fixed across-the-board increase, and then another portion that was going to be tied into a merit. And that split was yet to be determined. That's what it was clearly communicated to me. And you know, and then the next time, last time we got together for bargaining, you said, no, year 2 is just going to be a 100% merit-based increase. And I said, okay, well, things changed. And so now this time you're saying, no, we never offered a split. Again, it doesn't, it's your proposal, you can change it.
Well, I have to change it because you've rejected it, right?
Yeah, we
We
might.
don't want to get an agreement.
We might have
I don't
discussed
say
it
we
because
rejected it, we didn't TA it, it doesn't necessarily mean we rejected it.
yeah, we might have discussed it because that is what,
That's
that's
what you wanna
our
do
goal,
now?
that's our goal. But I know we wouldn't put it in a,
Well, Jim forgot, it's no big deal.
no, but I know we wouldn't put it in one of our proposals because we don't know if we're gonna get
It
there.
was verbally communicated, there was nothing in writing, I still yet to see anything in writing.
That's because it wasn't our proposal. We discussed it, I agree with you, and we discussed a lot of things with you, exploring what we might be able to get to. That doesn't make it a proposal until we hand it to you. You agree with that, right? Same across the table from you.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna hold you
I'm past
to,
this.
one phrase.
It's just that you said that we never, I don't
We
know.
never give you an offer of that, in that regard.
Okay, you discussed the concept.
That's
You
different.
discussed a concept.
That's different. You didn't say we discussed the concept, but we're past that,
You
right?
forgot, it's no big deal, get over it. It's no big deal, man, it's okay.
said you gave a proposal over it anyway.
So getting back to seniority and wages and duration, you kind of just put them all together because of the fact that they all have the reopening factor to it. I guess you're not comfortable in agreeing to seniority without having the wages and the duration part of it figured out.
Yeah, because if we don't have a year 2, if we don't have an agreement on a year 2, then I'm not sure what we should be spending in year 1.
Okay, well, I am in agreement with having a 2-year agreement. And I'm having an agreement with having an opener in year 2. And I'm in agreement for having that opener apply to wages. And I'm in agreement with having that opener apply to seniority. Now, the big unknown is how the wages are gonna play out. It's not that we necessarily oppose to anything we hear, it's just that we haven't finalized it. And so, with all that being said, you know, I see what you're saying, I guess, that if we.
Then what's your proposal for wages in year one? Is it still the same?
$1 an hour across the board? At this point in time, it is, but if we can get a bunch of stuff worked out, you know, the committee may consider something different. And is your, I don't even know what your proposal is, because I've seen it in writing, kind of a liquid fuzzy gray area. Is your proposal whatever the BOCC decides? Or has the BOCC already decided on 3%?
They don't decide until September when the public budget hearing is taken.
Is it your proposal that whatever the BOCC?
We would offer you whatever they provide for other unrepresented employees, whatever percentage that is.
Okay. So if that ends up being 5, or if it's 3, or if it's 2.5, that's what your proposal is. It's currently looking like it's going to be 3, but it's nothing in stone at this point in time, right?
It's not, and right now we don't know whether or not there will be a separation of classes of employees that might get one percentage and others that might get a different. We're waiting, we're doing what you're doing, we're waiting to see how the budget process works out.
Yeah, because they had to raise taxes to get to where they are now.
What time?
By the time they raise taxes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very, very reasonable, Pasco. As they told us the other day in the Sterling meeting, I think with the lowest tax rate in the state, or close to it.
Well, you still have citizens complaining, you know, and that's what obviously the commissioners look at.
We're going to get them reelected.
Well, when they drive through the big pothole and lose their car on the road, they're going to complain. Your taxes.
You mean like Hudson Beach?
Like my road, that's one big patch.
I called up 5 days in a row to get that road patched up. I don't even know if I want to take a
All right,
bite.
you want to take a 15, 20-minute break? Can you bring some language?
Yeah, if you could put some language based on what we talked
Just
about,
before going out
and I
and
see it in
out
front of me,
there's a
I
hole
might be able to
in
do
that
some
road.
moving on
We
some
hit it,
stuff.
you didn't even see it. I hit it. I'm surprised I got tired
I'll
of
do that again.
Okay, let's do that.
I knocked my teeth out.
The county truck?
County truck. Brand new county truck.
I don't even know if I want to bring a bus up there.
I'm watching you, I'm wider than he is taller, so.
Watching some people. Oh, we're having a eclipse.
Yeah, there you go.
From one tall guy to another.
Okay, we're back on at 11:46. So these are for you. Couple of copies.
Do you want to share this one? Two share this one. Mike and Bruce share, and then Eric.
I just printed the group of everything that's still open, but I'll take you through it. So Article 3, you know our position on the 2 you asked me about. We haven't changed our position. 10, same now on seniority.
What are we going to put something in there about a bargaining unit position? Remember? Definition of seniority, remember we had some discussion about, someone spent, time and working for the county, but not necessarily bargaining unit position, but would be considered seniority for the purposes of this CBA.
You can tweak it. Give us some.
Yeah, I mean, you guys recall me talking about it, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the specific language though. All right, I added a reopener's language at the bottom.
Yeah, instead of for Pasco County, we talked about an bargaining unit position.
Okay. Well, that's, okay.
Yeah, we had some discussion about it, but
Where's the part about promotions?
Okay, look.
Oh, yeah, I don't see it. Is that on the next page? So we spent all the time, wow.
Right there.
For one I want to see. All right, what's next, annual leave?
Annual leave.
This is the status quo accruals. When I say status quo, I'm talking about this book. Except for the first 90 days are exempt, right?
Right. That's it. Workers' comp is the status quo. Leave time excluded is our position, if you non-leave. Employee performance evaluation, we always, as well as in the second paragraph, that the evaluation period, since we're going to go to annual, is October 1. Nothing new in 43 from our previous proposal.
What about your last proposal on breaks and lunch? You're saying that's not. Is that
Lunch breaks are unpaid, and they're.
We had a pretty.
We spent a lot of time on it, but we never nailed down language that pulls us off of this. We can come back to it, and just take you through this, ask us to give it to you in writing. Reduction in workforce, that's the layoff, and still a factor here.
Am I understanding, though, that if we were to agree to the seniority provision, that Article 45 would go away? The new proposal on 19. With respect to layoffs and seniority benefit that you described. You can't have both, right?
Well, you can have both, because 45 explains how we would get to the layoff anyway, right?
Okay, well, then
Don't you want
That's the end of it.
factors that must be taken into consideration is not to
It's
decide.
the annual thing.
to, we still get, and plus, if you think about it, we still give you value for seniority. And we signaled to you
It's
before.
not gonna happen. I'll just say the argument.
All it is, wages described in the two-year agreement. Obviously, the second part will come into play if there's only a one-year agreement. And then on duration, without taking effect on ratification, or if the case be, do the impasse process.
I'm behind it.
All right, where are you?
On wages.
Year one is the amount set by the Board of County Commissioners for non-bargaining employees when they fix the budget for the year. Year two is a performance evaluation score based system. We'll negotiate the performance score to how it works to wage and the implementation date when we reopen. And when you get to the duration clause, it provides for reopening of Article 49. And then duration is 2 year. And reopen is 19 single and wages 39.
All right, I'm going to verbally communicate a bundled offer that could result in a tentative agreement if you guys are willing to agree with it. And there's certain components to it that are essential. Actually, they're all essential. They're all in the bundle, and I think that we could get this thing wrapped up. We're going to come up with some really fantastic proposals that you had. 3, and you can just write this down, I guess. I'm not going to hand it to you because it needs to be discussed. 3, if, again, understanding this whole thing is a bundle, it's not like, okay, cool, I'll take the first 2 out.
I get it. I get it. It's a
Okay,
bundle.
so Article 3 would be withdrawn, and in its place, and I don't care what you call it, because if you have some sort of philosophical problem with having a disciplinary procedure in the CBA, or some sort of benchmark that you need to meet, I don't really care. But Article 3 would be a just cause provision, a simple one-liner that says no employee shall be disciplined or terminated without just cause, period. That's all I need, just to have something to protect the employees. 9, we'd be willing to agree to. Again, this is all a bundle proposal. 10, we'd be willing to agree to. 19, by simply adding, where you have 1 and 2 in your proposal, adding 3 with the one-word promotions. And the rest of it we live with. We're on 23, annual leave. We're willing to, annual leave would be okay, because it's just, there's nothing in here, is there anything in here about being exempt or being considered overtime? And this, I don't think there is. You have it in other spots. Annual leave, I'm looking at Article 23. I don't think there's anything in this proposal that excludes it from being considered as hours worked. If that's the case, that's what our proposal is, that we would withdraw our proposal to increase the accruals, that would leave the accruals, the status quo is what they are now. Article 30, workers' compensation.
Hang on a second. So you would agree to this language? All right.
Article 30, workers' comp. We want to have a me-too for whatever the rest of the. In other words, if non-bargaining is currently enjoying this benefit, we want to enjoy it too. If it's removed for them, then it's removed for us. So it has to be, we're looking for a me-too. Because I don't know what the plan is, and last I heard, you guys don't even know for sure if you're going to do away with it. But this contract language effectively does away with it the day we sign it, with the benefit of the, what do you guys call it, the pre?
The workers' comp.
Yeah, pre-comp, I want to just call it pre-workers' comp benefit. If non-bargaining is enjoying it, we enjoy it. If it's taken away from non-bargaining, it's taken away from us. So the concept is it would need to. As opposed to what your proposal is that there is no anything above what state statute provides. You understand that, right? My proposal. time excluded. The two types of leave that we want to have considered as hours worked are annual leave and jury duty. And jury duty is a once in a blue moon at best benefit, but it's something that's completely out of the control of the employee. If he's called for jury duty on a Wednesday, he didn't choose that to happen, it just happened. So he shouldn't be penalized for it. And that is considered a type of leave. So, and the other one is annual leave. So that is something you can only enjoy. We get the whole sick time then. You know, where a guy, you know, works 32 hours of straight time and 6 hours of overtime by Thursday and calls out sick on Friday and he's going to bang the county for overtime. We get that part. But if the guy takes a vacation and uses his annual leave, and the annual leave, you know, he's taking a week and a half or something, and when he comes back, he's bombarded with a bunch of overtime, we don't feel he should be penalized for working those extra hours by not receiving time and a half for after 40. So our leave time excluded proposal, Connor, would be that annual leave and jury duty leave are the only types of leave considered hours worked for purposes of computing overtime. Let me know when you call it up.
Okay.
Employee performance evaluation, we're okay with. Our last proposal was excluding, tying it into merit, and obviously we're crossing that bridge, so we would use the 42. 43, we want to, you know, the last time we were bargaining, we talked about the lunch breaks and the unpaid lunch break and the 15-minute breaks. And I think the only thing we were apart on last time was the inclusion of the transit department drivers. And I want to, you know, today that doesn't seem to be part of your bundle, but that language we're okay with excluding transit. It's a long discussion with Jim, our Jim, and he gave me the go-ahead to just to agree to that language. It would be better to have some language that affected other people and status quo for those who are not either in work group, field groups or something. So that proposal that we were working on last time is the one that will go on the TA, excluding the transit drivers.
So you're saying we agreed to guarantee breaks for everybody?
First of all, we didn't agree to anything. It was a proposal they put forth. And there was, you guys don't have a record of the last time you proposed breaks? Employees in field work groups, with the exception of public transportation employees, shall be granted 2 15-minute paid breaks per shift, one before, one after. And employees, with the exception of transportation drivers, will be granted 1 unpaid lunch break. That's the language that was kicked around last time.
I think we talked about and kicked around the concept of extending the workday to accommodate that. But we didn't reach agreement on that either.
Yeah, we didn't want to extend the workday, and that was part of the major reason why the transit drivers were like, you know what, just leave it alone. They don't want to add 30 minutes to the day just so they can have a lunch break. At least that's what I'm being told. But we did like the fact that, you know, employees in field work groups, which is probably a significant majority of the members are out in the field, that they continue to get their breaks.
Well, that's the status quo, really, right?
Yeah, it is. There doesn't seem to be too much of a change from what's currently going on.
Well, except I don't know, with 1,000 people, I don't know how many of them get guaranteed breaks every single day. That's my problem.
Well, I remember the discussion being that, maintaining the status quo is not necessarily a problem.
Right.
And I think
Which is the discretion of the supervisor. That's right.
ways that they get them currently to maintain it. Article 45, we're absolutely rejecting because of the acceptance of 19, Article 19, or proposal of 19, as written today, that you just put forth, adding the mention of promotions in there. There's no need for retention. We're not interested in retention. Article 48, holidays. I don't know if we ever flush this out or not, but we don't have a problem with the day before, day after then. What we have a problem with is on your 48, if I'm not mistaken, in the end of the first paragraph, you inserted language, and I might be wrong, but it says, unless the holiday falls on a day that the employee is not scheduled to work or is on leave, in which case the holiday paid for that holiday will not be paid. That's the change. That's new. So we don't want that. We're willing to just leave it as it is. Give your,
So your proposal would be to put a period after the word day.
right. Wages and salaries, 49. Seems to be okay. I'm still a little bit hung up on this newly hired employees may be hired above the minimum salary. Without bringing anyone who's below that up. We've had some discussion about that in the past. You can't find anybody for a position or to make it, to fill that position and make it more attractive to applicants. You need to raise it. That's fine, as long as there's nobody else being paid less than that. That concept, if you can live with it, then we're okay with it. So we're okay with the year 2 being tied in. The performance and the relation is parties agreed to reopen negotiations no later than May 1st. What is this? The agreement ends on 9/30/15. Compensation is frozen at 9/30/15 levels unless otherwise addressed in an review addendum or new agreement. I've never seen that language in there, so that's preserving that
We're still negotiating. That would be it. You'd be stuck. Your employees would be frozen at that level until the next contract, or do we do an article that doesn't? With wages and seniority reopening, the chance that will be taken care of.
I've never seen that in there. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I mean, at least it prevents us from going backwards.
It clarifies what the status quo is when the contract expires.
Right. I think it would have a lot more significance if we had a step plan or something that was going to automatically roll.
I don't know what the Teamsters would want to think of about the status quo continuing beyond the term of the contract. So that language is to protect against some new argument.
We have all kinds of
status quo. You do good ones too sometimes.
So, I think that's it, man. I mean, in light of what we just said, if you're willing to accept that, we can, in concept, reach tentative agreement, and then there's probably take a few hours of getting all these proposals set up that way, and this nightmare could be over.
Can you clarify your position on 49? Because you said, you didn't like this, but I wasn't sure.
The last paragraph.
Yeah, I mean, it says newly hired employees may be paid above a minimum salary subject to the request of the employing department or division head. If you're going to pay a new hire above the minimum entry level, that's okay, provided no one working there is beneath what you
So
want
that's
to
your
pay.
proposal. See, I wasn't sure, because you said that, but I wasn't sure if that was your, for the bundle.
It sure is,
Okay.
yeah. And I don't think it should be too much of a snag.
That's assuming the existing employee has more education experience than the new employee.
Well, my suggestion is if the person you're planning on hiring is overqualified, then hire them for a position that the wage range fits for them. If they're overqualified. If you need to pay them more than what the minimum salary is, you got a couple options. Either raise the minimum salary or put them into another position that's more appropriate for what they're worth.
Sometimes the other one isn't open. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but I know it just
I'm sure it doesn't, but it would be a huge slap in the face, in my opinion, to an employee to find out you just hired somebody next to me to do the exact same job, and you're paying them more than me, and I've been here for a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. You know, like I said, they're obviously overqualified. If there's no openings in a position, then maybe, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but it's just kind of common sense here, you know. Raise the minimum. Yeah.
So what's the language you're proposing?
Newly hired employees may be paid above the minimum salary subject to the request of the employing department division head, may be authorized by the county administrator, up to top of pay range or designated maximum of 10% if the applicant's training, experience, or qualifications are substantially above those required for the position, or there are not qualified applicants available for a loan to accept the minimum salary, provided that all employees in that classification do not make less than, what are we calling it? We're calling it this pay rate. Provided all current employees in that classification are not paid less than this pay rate.
Referring to the newly hired employees.
Correct, yeah. As I said, I don't know how often it happens, I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but it's just, for the reasons I already stated, I don't need to repeat myself, I just, you know, you have other ways of.
Yeah, I just didn't know what was
What you do
included
now,
in,
right?
I didn't know what was included in your bundle. So you're okay with the whole rest of the article?
Yeah.
I think that would disincentivize getting better qualified employees in the county.
Yeah.
The training experience and the qualifications above the minimum, you don't see that as improving your gene pool in the bargaining unit?
Raise the minimum wage.
Yeah, I can't raise the minimum.
It's not that difficult.
I can't raise
Raise
it.
the minimum wage.
I
Well, if the
can't do
person
that
is so
every-
smart,
every
if the person's so
time I
qualified, so
hire.
smart, so valuable, put them into a higher position, that they're more, it's more
Yeah,
appropriate for them.
this-
But you said there's no opening. Well, then I don't know what to tell you. Then I guess there's no openings, there's
Yeah,
no
I have
openings.
certain parameters. I have
Say, listen, I wanna hire you,
pay
Barbara.
plan and I have approved positions.
It's like this, listen, I wanna hire
It's
you,
not like
okay?
private sector.
I see your resume, you are the type of person I need to working for my organization. You're the type of person I want there. But unfortunately, I don't have any openings for your job. So I'm gonna put you in this entry-level base position. But it's okay, because I'm gonna jack your rate up 10, 20, 30% above what the minimum is, just so I can get you a job.
10%,
10%.
maximum.
10% higher than what everyone else is. I would expect an employer just to tell the employee, listen, I have a position for you elsewhere, I'm gonna hire you, I'm gonna pay you for what you're worth, or I can't hire you and I can't pay you for what you're worth. You can't just, you know, in my opinion, just stick somebody in a pay grade in a position that's beneath them, jack up the rate to accommodate them, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not fair to the people who are in those positions.
First of all,
Let's just
people
jump to
apply
it.
for positions, I don't just stick them wherever. You know, they apply for whatever position.
And you put them in a position that they're
Hey,
worth.
Okay.
How about if we don't tell anybody what the rate was? Then your other workers won't covet that money.
Well, believe me, they'll find out sooner or later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One way or another, they'll find out.
And if they don't find out.
All they gotta do is go online.
Yeah, go to TOB and it's,
Why would
everybody's
somebody waste time
wages.
going online to see what their coworkers being paid?
Because they feel like they're getting screwed by their employer.
no, but we never do anything. We just like to do it behind their back without them knowing, right?
So, I think we got a very, very fair, counter. I mean, this is it, guys, it's showtime, we can get this thing done. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting this thing wrapped up. I think both parties, I'm gonna give you guys credit, you've come a long way from when we first started, and I think we've done the same. I think we've come a little further, a little better, but we've come a long way from where we started, and you know, I think this committee has been extremely cooperative, and to give you kudos, there has been a change in climate since Mr. Gallagher has left. And even slightly before he was leaving, there seems to be a change in climate, and that's great. We hope the trend continues, you know, and whether or not Mr. Gallagher was drunk when he made that comment is irrelevant because it's truthful. The union is the best thing that has happened in this county for communication, and the proof is that the things have changed.
No, they started communicating, when we started the LEAP initiative, we started meeting with
That's fine, well, we can,
clients, the employees.
So just on 45, your proposal is to delete it, it's not needed if we have 19, but we can't have 19 unless we have a motion. Okay, we'll be back.
I thought you did luck.
Okay, back on at 12:34. We will take your bundled proposal under advisement and get back to you at the next bargaining session, whether we can accept it or not.
When is our next public session?
Sure, if we send one. I think this was the last one that was reset.
Well, there was one sent in between here, but we weren't notified.
Let's reset.
At 10 o'clock change.
Well, how much time do you need to get an answer on that?
I'm not sure.
What? About Friday?
That was good. We'll have to get you some dates. figure out dates and send them to you.
All right, just sooner the better, that's all.
Okay. We're done.